G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, back at it again with another episode of r/revenge. Now, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe and join my amazing community. You should also head on over to my subreddit r/Markee and post your own stories if you'd like to share them on this channel. With that out of the way, I'd love for you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for some good content. Now, our two stories today are by user Crazy Aussie Pagan, who has provided all the juicy content for our revenge fantasies today. Our first story is entitled Anti-Vaxxer, Vegan Mother, Takes Advantage of My Kindness, So I Took Revenge. Pro-revenge. Just before Christmas last year, an acquaintance asked me if I would like to earn some cash in hand for babysitting a couple of girls, ages 5 and 8, who were daughters of one of her friends. This acquaintance knew that I don't like children at all, due to severe bullying that I received in primary and high school. It was agreed with the mother that I would do every Thursday from 2 PM until 7 PM, so she could go to her part-time job. The amount agreed was $5 an hour, and occasionally on other days if she was called in for an extra shift. This parent is an anti-vaxxer, like my acquaintance and their friends. Both girls have been diagnosed with autism. The mother is so confused because, like all anti-vaxxers, she believes that autism is caused by the MMR vaccination. Her daughters and the children of their mutual friends all homeschool the children by taking turns to take the group of 6 children, ages 5 to 11, and have a larger group of unvaccinated children that they all attend and unofficial, unrecognized by the government childcare. I was requested by this mother to babysit, because as someone who has worked in disability as a carer, and has experienced caring for people with a wide range of disabilities and mental illnesses, it was a cheap option. And at $5 an hour cash in hand, I wasn't going to complain about the crazy low hour rate for cash in hand. I'm on a disability pension after a mental breakdown working in disability for 10 years. This mother is vegan, doesn't allow her children to have any food or drink with added sugar, no artificial coloring or flavorings. The daughters are expected to be in bed by 7 PM, which is when she was due home from work. Okay, that's fine. I can do that and keep her girls entertained until bedtime. They turned out to be lovely girls with only mild autism. Well, the mother, instead of arriving home at the agreed upon time of 7 PM, would never be on time, often arriving anywhere between 9 PM and 11 PM, because she decided to go out with her friends after work for drinks, movies, and shopping. She also wouldn't pay me for the extra hours that I stayed there with her daughters. The school year starts back, and I'm resolved to no longer sit for her, if asked, because I was sick of being taken advantage of. Well, Tuesday last week, I get a call asking if I would be able to continue sitting on the Thursdays, and pick up the girls from the house. They have their homeschool with the other children. Get the key from the hidden key safe, help the girls with anything they need to do, prepare the raw food meal, get them showered and off to bed, ? Then she has the cheek to ask me to read through a book that she will have pages marked, and prepare a lesson plan for the 6 children for the next day. Friday is her turn to homeschool the children. I said that I really didn't have the time to look after her girls that night, as I already had plans. She was supposed to give me a week notice so I could make alterations to any appointments, etc. I had a specialist medical appointment that afternoon at 2 PM, and didn't want to change it because I didn't know how long it would take until I could get another one. She starts on the guilt-tripping attempts of how she's a single mother and that she needs me. So I decide I'll do it and alter my appointment. But just this one last time because I had enough of her BS, and I head to the store to get some very special supplies. On Thursday afternoon, I pick up her daughters, and because it was a nice afternoon, I stop off at 7-Eleven for a Slurpee for myself, and one each for the girls. Remember, they're not allowed such things. We get to the house, and I bring into the house a grocery bag chock full of goodies. Mountain Dew Energized, Coca-Cola, jelly beans, chocolate chips, Whiz Fizz, fruit tingles, fairy floss, also known as cotton candy, and party pies and sausage rolls, also known as schnags. The girls were so happy to have something they never had before, and got stuck into absolutely everything that I bought. I let them nap in the afternoon before dinner of party pies and party sausage rolls, and anything they wanted, and nap after dinner. 7 PM rolls around and no sign of the mother. I message her asking how long she will be, as I'm tired of this crap and just wanted to be at my own home. No answer from her. 9 PM and I message her again, while looking at the books she had page marked for me. Religious crap, and yes, flat earth crap. I'm disgusted these people are in Australia, get them out. The girls are getting grumpy due to overeating on foods that they're not used to. But I let them stay up, don't insist on them showering or going to bed. They watch the Harry Potter movies that I brought along, not allowed by the mother. Lovely, yes! And apart from being grumpy and overtired, they were having a great time. 11 PM and the girls fall asleep for a short while, until one throws up on the lounge, and of course the same happens right away to the other. Another message to the mother and no answer. But the girls are feeling better and start pigging out again. Oh god. Just after the midnight, the mother arrives home, and finally to find both girls awake. I just say they had bad dreams and missed their mother. She pays me only from 2 PM until 7 PM, and I leave the house with the rubbish from the food and the drink in the kitchen bin so she would find it. Before I had even reached my front door, she phones my mobile, which I don't answer because I'm driving and really didn't want to talk to her anyway. The calls keep coming, and then the messages. Wow, that woman has a mouth on her, and terrible spelling and grammar. She thinks she can homeschool. What a joker. I just messaged back one time, only hoping that she has a good day homeschooling that day, and that she owes me over $200 for the unpaid hours that I had stayed there while she was out socializing. More abusive messages followed, and I then just delete and block her on my phone and on Facebook. Later on, Friday, the acquaintance calls me and demands an explanation, so I tell her everything. She didn't know that I wasn't being paid for the extra hours that I worked, and she had been told that I knew that the mother would be late and that I would be okay with it. The acquaintance just said that she wished I hadn't fed the children those things, but she understands why I did it. Apparently, the girls were a handful that morning and had hidden lots of the goodies in their room to enjoy later, which they shared with the other children that day. I have made it clear that I no longer want anything to do with her friends, though I am happy to still talk to her if she wishes to talk to me. She said yes and wouldn't recommend any more babysitting for me. I have said that I am content with that because I don't like children anyway, as she knew before she asked me. Yes, it was probably wrong for me to do what I did by letting the girls eat these things, but I wanted to deliberately burn the bridge so I would never be asked again. Delightfully devilish, Seymour. I liked that story, and I can't wait for the next one. That was beautiful. And you know what? Get rid of those people out of Australia. I don't respect them, so it is what it is. And our last story has 2 parts to it. Thank you. By Crazy Aussie Pagan. My final day at my first high school when I got revenge on my teachers after signing my exit expulsion papers. It was glorious. Backstory. Set in Australia, early 1980s. Sorry that it's so long. Unfortunately, I am someone who was severely bullied by classmates from as early as primary school, and had already been to 2 primary schools by the time I started high school. I was a very intelligent child who was reading Dr. Seuss books on my own before I started primary school, so thanks to my advanced skills in reading, spelling, grammar, and comprehension, I would easily win spelling bees, get through my reading assignments, and many other subjects, including German as a second language. Ach ja, quite easily. Though maths was and still is my weakness, same here, this earned me a lot of bullying from my classmates, which I would often report to the teacher, but this would earn me even more intensive bullying. By high school, I was a bored student, and this boredom led me to failing Year 7, and needing to repeat the year. I had enrolled into a school further away in the hope that I wouldn't have my primary school bullies in any of my classes, but unfortunately, there were a few classmates from my first primary school that remembered me or had friends from my first primary school. Part 1. Onto the story of why my expulsion came about. Late November, just 3 weeks before the end of the school year, I decided to skip class to avoid my bullies. As I had taken to doing often, because I didn't want to go into class with red puffy eyes, after another bout of crying due to being ganged up on by my tormentors during lunch break. Coming back around 20 minutes before the end of the day bell to wait for the bike shed to be unlocked so I could get to my bike, before I found the tires let down or slashed by my tormentors. I found a teacher waiting for me, as he obviously knew that I had wagged his class that afternoon, and that I had ridden to school that day. He was a drama teacher, who everyone called Nick instead of the usual title, Mr., with his spiky punk crazy coloured hair, casual fashionable clothes, and relaxed attitude towards many students, including his pets. He was very popular in the school, but he was possibly one of the worst teachers who allowed his little pets to torment me daily. Nick put his hand on my arm, gripping it quite firmly, demanding that I go to the principal's office with him. I pulled away from him, and without swearing or using an insulting tone, just made it clear that I'll be going nowhere with him, and that as soon as the groundskeeper opens the bike shed, that I was going home. He grabbed hold of my arm again, this time tighter, and trying to pull me along with him. I escaped his grip, and this time I admit to swearing at him to keep his hands off of me, and that I will be going nowhere with him. Again he grabbed at me, and this time it hurt. So having done a few years of martial arts at the time, I defended myself by twisting out of his grip and using the heel of my hand against his chest, very firmly pushing him several steps away from me. The groundskeeper walked around the corner just at that moment I had pushed back at him. The groundskeeper was asked by Nick to go to get the principal, because I was refusing to go to the office with him. Of course, the groundskeeper did so. In the office, my mother was called and had arrived. I was given the choice between out and out expulsion with a letter to be sent to the next school, or to leave willingly. I chose to leave willingly, of course. But as I went to interview after interview at several high schools, it became clear to me that after my interviews when my high school was contacted, that the principal was filling them in about what had happened, because I got several rejections, and some rather leading questions about why I was leaving that high school. After that, I decided it was better to just come clean with my side of the story before they contacted the high school for more information on me. Finally got accepted to a high school on the condition that I would come to a teacher if bullied, or if I didn't trust the teacher, then to go find a teacher, year coordinator that I could trust, or to come to him and that they would hear me out. Part 2. Now onto the petty revenge. It was necessary to finalize paperwork to formally exit that school as a student. So because Mum was working that day, I rode my bike there after lunch to get that done and get my revenge. Being someone who was very observant over the years, and the good luck that the teacher's parking was right by the library, and I had always been the one to see them leaving from where I would sit in the library after school to hide from the tormentors after hiding my bike in some bushes so they would think that I'd gone ahead of them. Well, why was there no full stop in that sentence? These particular teachers of mine who always turned a blind eye to their little teacher's pets bullying me always parked in their preferred spots, would walk out to their cars together and start their cars within seconds of each other. So I put a pipe bomb in there. So I had come to the school that final time with rotten eggs, baby potatoes, and toilet paper. Hiding my bike in its usual spot, around 30 minutes before the end of the day bell, I then proceeded to put the eggs, baby potatoes, and toilet paper into the exhaust pipes of their cars. Then I sat myself down in the same place as my bike, and to pass the time, I opened a book to read for a while, and wait for the show about to start. Well, the bell went, and out came all of the students to make their way home. About an hour later, these particular teachers came out together to their cars, and I could overhear their conversations, which included some revolting things about me. These teachers would park in a way that the boot, trunk of their cars pointed at each other. They got in after saying their farewells and started their engines. Oh, the resulting show was glorious. Eggs, potatoes, and toilet paper shooting out of the exhaust pipes, hitting each other's cars. The noise, confusion, and mess was hilarious. It was very difficult to stifle my giggles in my hiding spot. I sat there until they went back into the building to get help, and then I took off on my bike as fast as possible and went straight home. This is at a time when schools didn't have cameras everywhere for security, so there was no proof that I had done this. Of course, my parents were called, but I denied it for many years, and only let my parents know 20 years later. I have plenty of stories about my teachers' practical jokes, revenge on teachers, and my tormentors that I am happy to share if anyone is interested. Damn, that is quite the revenge to be getting there, Pagan. I hope that, no one's gonna go after you for these stories after reading them out. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed that story. Tell me what you thought about it down in the description below. Tell me what kind of revenge you would be up to if you were in their shoes. And as always, I hope you have a good day. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!